let me ask you a question. If a scare comes out of nowhere and breaks the rules of the world that the game has set out, is it still a good scare? Hi, hello, and welcome to the video. Whether you're someone who loves horror, loves gaming, loves overthinking, or just a game dev looking for some tips, this is the video for you. My name's Dan Hannon. This is Overthinking Media, where we overthink all things anime, gaming, cinematic, and entertaining with the intent to start discussion on subjects that may not change the world, but are fun to overthink. And today, we are talking about the basic scare and basic jump scare. What it is, when to use it, how to use it, and what to avoid. I also want to clarify that while throughout this video a lot of times I say jump scare, these mechanics aren't limited to jump scares. However, the vast majority of these scares do end up being actual jump scares. Therefore, I'm saying jump scares as a means of saving time. It's sort of like saying all fish are aquatic life forms, but not all aquatic life forms are fish. Or rather, all horror games are games, but not all games are horror games. So when I say games in videos talking about horror games, you can understand I mean horror games. You still with me? Cool, let's begin. So, what is the basic jump scare? These are the scares that are there just to scare the player. There's no rhyme or reason why they happen, they at least go, bleh! Scared you! A lot of times they break the rules set out in the world. They'll just appear out of nowhere and then disappear, completely ignoring the rules of the world. They're just there to freak you out, to give you that quick rush of adrenaline. And because of how they work, almost every basic scare is a jump scare. And in most cases, these are made up of at least one of three things. A loud noise, something in your face, and often shaking or flashing of the screen. Unlike other jump scares, there is no way to predict these. Golden Freddy in the original FNAF game could be considered a basic jump scare. However, an argument could also be made that Golden Freddy is an anticipatory jump scare or even a chance jump scare. It's a difficult one because I can see the argument for each of the sides, but the problem with scares is I have multiple videos on scares if you don't know. Go check them out. They're great. I really like making these videos. I'm really proud of them. But while there are these categories of scares, I think there's about 7 categories, a lot of them overlap. So you can say, hey, this scare does this, but it also does... It's kind of like a Venn diagram where like they kind of mix. But if you have watched my other videos and have seen all the scare videos I've made, let me know what you think. What is Golden Freddy? Because I don't know. It's an interesting argument. Like, I don't know. I honestly, like, this bit's off script, obviously. You can tell I'm off script because I'm just kind of rambling right now. But legitimately, what is Golden Freddy? Is he a basic jump scare? Is he a chance jump scare? Is he an anticipatory jump scare? I don't know. Let me know what you think. But in essence, basic scares and basic jump scares are just when that game dev puts in that thing that pops up out of nowhere. You're walking down a long empty corridor and suddenly a face appears out of nowhere. And by the time you process it, the face has disappeared. I don't really like these scares, actually. They're not good, really. They have their place, and when used sparingly, they can be momentarily effective and can get that drive of adrenaline. Overall, I don't really like these. If a game solely relies on basic scares, the player comes to know that at any moment, a scare could happen for absolutely any reason, which some may say, hey, that's a good horror game, it constantly keeps the player scared. But to that, I say no. There are differences between being scared and being scared. Those are the same. Let me explain. What a scare should be something you enjoy. And that sounds contradictory, I get that, but like, you should enjoy being scared. You should be excited for the scare to come. You're playing a game that you want to be scared in. You're excited for it. You're like, yay. Like, you know how games kind of work, so you can kind of know when scares are coming. You're like, you understand the mechanics of the game, you understand how they work, you know when there's going to be a scare and when there's probably not. Like, there's safe areas and there's not safe areas. Safe areas, there's not going to be a scare. Unsafe areas, there's probably going to be a scare at some point. However, in the case of basic scares, it just becomes annoying because there is no reason for why this happens. There's no logical reason. The answer is they put a scare there because they wanted to scare you, even though it doesn't make any sense at all. You're walking through an empty room, there's no one in there, suddenly a zombie pops up out of nowhere. Why did that come? It materialized out of nowhere just to scare you. And it's just annoying, really. It's like, oh, yeah, you scared me by popping something up in my face. Because, yeah, you're not actually scared, you're more just shocked and... I don't know, the game's punishing you for no reason. On top of that, if a game is solely relying on basic scares, chances are they're just using the same image and sound effect over and 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 over again. And it just kind of becomes... Before long, the player's just walking through the game and yeah, the image throws up in your face, the audio blares, and you're ah. The player kind of goes from ah to yeah. Instead of being actually scared and going ah, that was good. That got me. That was scary. That got me. Okay, the player just kind of goes okay, keep going, I guess, because these scares aren't a threat. They're just there to scare you, and they're kind of... It's just not really fun. They're not scary because there is no threat to them. The scare can't hurt you. There is no threat to it. So, it's just... Yeah. It's just like... It's just there to freak you out. Sort of like a haunted house at an amusement park. Like, yeah, it's scary, you know it's scary, it's there, but you also know that you're completely safe. You know that you're going through this haunted house, and yeah, things are going to pop out and scare you. Yeah, okay, cool, you know that. But you know none of them can hurt you, because the second a single scratch lands on you, you're set for life. That amusement park is done. They are shut down, they have injured a guest. Nothing's going to happen. So, you know, as soon as you walk into a haunted house, yeah, it's scary, but nothing's going to happen. Alternatively, if a basic scare does hurt you, well, that's just bad. Just don't do that. Do not have basic scares that come out of nowhere that you cannot predict and cannot defend against that hurt you. That is not fair. That is just punishing the player for playing your game. That is punishing the player for wanting to experience your game. And quite frankly, if you're doing that, you've made a bad game. That's all there is to it. As I said, the basic jump scare is bad when overused. And that window can very easily be overdone. Like, there's about that much basic jump scares that should be in a game. Like, yeah, they have their place. They have their place. I'm not saying they don't. Like, when used effectively, efficiently, and to the best of their ability, they are reasonably good. They can get that shot of adrenaline. They're good when they're used minimalistically. Good ways to use the basic scare are either like, if you're walking down a hallway and there's multiple doors, just walking down a hallway, like, you kind of know you're walking down a hallway. You know how games work, but you can't really tell if something's going to happen. You're walking, la la la. And suddenly as you're walking past the door, just something slams up against it. Or the window, something slams against the window. You look. There's nothing. Okay, that was scary. I don't know what's happening. Is something outside? Is something on the other side of the door? No, nothing's gonna happen. Okay, cool. That was just to scare me. Okay. Okay, cool. That was good. That scared me. Or having the lights flicker for a few seconds, and as you do, there's something staring at you. Like, between the lights flickering, you can see there's something there just standing there, and when the lights turn back on, it's gone. Okay. Is that thing a threat? Am I vulnerable? Am I safe? Is that thing going to attack me? Should I try to attack it? Like, there was no reason for that to happen. I was just walking down the hallway and the lights started flickering. There was no way to predict that. There was no way of telling what was going to happen. It just happened out of nowhere. And this one, I really like this, but I also don't think it should be used. It's the having the breathing right behind you, because it works on the games that it does work on. If it's not the game that should have it in, you shouldn't have it in there, basically. Basically, when it works, but if it doesn't work, do not use it. But it's the subtle, basic scare of just walking down a hallway, and then suddenly you just hear breathing right behind you. You turn around, there's nothing there. There's nothing there at all. Like, yeah, it's just this sound there. There's no threat, there's no danger. It was just a sound effect. Once you stepped on that, once you did, I don't know, 7,000 steps in the game, or once you got 19 minutes and 12 seconds in the game, there was something breathing behind you. Or once you press W for the 200th time, breathing. There's no way of predicting them, there's no way of knowing they happen, but they're simple, they're basic, they're very easy to see, and well, not see, they're very easy to use, and yeah, they scare you, they get that shot of adrenaline in your body, but they're not bad. These ones aren't inherently bad anyway. Like, when used sparingly, they're good. However, what about when they're not used well? When used poorly and when used badly, they're not good. For instance, if you're walking down a corridor and suddenly an image pops up with a loud audio and the flashing screen, it scares the player, and like, what's the response to that? Haha! Scared you by materializing a scare out of nowhere that scared you. Haha! I did something you weren't expecting. I threw up an image that clearly wasn't there before and clearly shouldn't have been there, but you know, it's a game, so I kind of, once you step there, I threw it up in front of your face even though it makes no sense for it to be there, so it would scare you, because I wanted to scare you. I scared you, right? Yeah, this is a good game because, you know, you're scared because I did something that you had no way to prepare or predict. Yeah, I'm a good game designer. Or having the exact same animation and noise scare the player. Every jump scare. The exact same creature, the exact same noise, the exact same everything. Ah! 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 Is there more than one scare? No, there's usually these different scares, but they're using the exact same texture file and sound effect. Okay, cool. Or even having scares that appear out of nowhere that hinder the player's progress. I really hate that. An example of all three of these would be having an enemy you have to run away from. But as you do, the game keeps throwing jump scares in your face that have a loud noise and flashing image and loud scary thing. But every time it does appear in your face, you have to stop moving for a second and keep running. Even though you're running away from a monster, every time the scare happens, you have to stand still for a second and stop moving because the scare needs to happen and the game needs to make you feel as if the scare is affecting because it's stopping your progress. And then it wants to get you and you lose because the game screwed you over. You didn't lose because, you know, you messed up. You didn't lose because you did anything wrong. You didn't lose because you made the dumb decision. No, you lost because the game went, we're going to put scares here that hinder your progress, so yeah, I get, maybe the concept is like make the game harder, but if the game actively punishes you for playing it, that's just bad, man. So when should you use them? Well, I think the right time to use a scare is as just that, a scare, as opposed to a punishment. Whenever I think of the basic scare, there is always one specific moment that comes to mind. It was during a Jeff the Killer indie horror game, and that tells you how long ago this was. It was like a decade ago. But there was this Jeff the Killer indie horror game where you walk through a door and Jeff's face just pops up. Giant face. Ah! Big scary face. Ah! But why? I mean, it just kind of, it shows up there and why? I mean, yeah, like, okay, you open the door. It's scary. Like, it would have been a lot better if you opened the door and there was actually a person standing there, like, ha! But no, it's just open the door and there's a giant face in your face. Because, giant face. Like, there's an actual person. You open the door, you go, oh, shut the door, person. But no, you just open the door and you go, oh, that's the scare. That is the scare. Okay. Moving on, I guess. It doesn't injure the player or really hinder them, but it's just not very enjoyable. Which, even though the game is trying to scare you, you should still enjoy it. You should enjoy the scare. People like horror movies because they enjoy the feeling of being scared. A good way to use the basic scare is to put the player on edge. As I said earlier, if the player is walking down a corridor and there's a window and a door, a good use of the basic scare is just slamming something against that, having a slam noise against the window, or slam door, have a slam door. I'm gonna make a character called Slam Door. Slam Door. I don't know, maybe have like a shield with a door in it, like he's a charge, kind of like a Reinhardt kind of thing, but with a door. Yeah, this has potential. Scares. Yeah, have something slam against the window or slam against the door. I've really lost track of what I was saying here. Right, yeah. If you're walking down the corridor and you can't see outside, it's nighttime, you can't see outside the window, it's dark, you can't see anything, and there's doors all along the corridor. As you're walking down this corridor, have just a slam noise effect against the window. Or have a slam noise against the door. That's all there is. It doesn't hinder your progress, it doesn't hurt you, it just scares you in that moment because it's there, it's a loud noise, and no matter how adjusted you are, a loud noise will still scare you. And I think that's what actually basic scares should be, or what basic scares should aspire to be. Scares are just noise, really. Like, yeah, the image, I don't know. I have more videos on this, and I don't have time to go into in this video because there's other videos and talk about it in, so go check those out after this video. But yeah, the basic scare is just to make the players jump. But it shouldn't break the rules of the game. Like I said, if it's a grounded game where like you're walking through an abandoned, like, I don't know, factory that's grounded in Earth, like you're just an explorer on a grounded world, like you are a real, this seems like a real life thing, where like you're walking into an abandoned factory. In this world, to my knowledge, there are no giant faced creatures. Or just giant flowy heads. Where am I going with this? Basically, if it breaks the rules of the world that it's set in, like, yeah, if you play a game that's like Outlast, no, never mind. I talk about Outlast too much. I've rambled. I forget what my point here was. The scare shouldn't hinder or punish the player. That's kind of the root of the problem. And so many basic scares do hinder or punish the player. And it's not for their own fault. It happens out of their control. If the player messes up, then yeah, by all means, punish or hinder the player because they have messed up. They have made the choice to mess up. But if the player is playing the best they can be and making no mistakes, the game shouldn't force them to make a mistake to punish or hinder them. So, what's the takeaway from this video? While the basic jump scare and scare do have their place in horror games, and in some games should be used, but used like a spice, minimalistically, they should never fully rely on them. The game shouldn't only rely on basic jump scares and scares, because it just won't be good. Like, maybe, I don't know, subjective. I don't think it'll be good. Some people may like those sort of games where things scare you out of nowhere for no reason, you have no reason to understand why. By all means, like, yeah, if you enjoy those, cool, good for you. Personally, I don't like them, and if you disagree with my point, by all means, make a video rebuttaling. Let's start a discussion. I'm very fascinated to hear your points, or just leave a well-argued debate in the comment section below. Let's start a discussion. This isn't to say I don't think things popping out of nowhere are bad. If the game has a valid in-game reason for it, then by all means, yeah, things popping out of nowhere just scare you, that's great. Like, if the player is on a space station running out of oxygen, they're gonna hallucinate. And things popping out of nowhere, that makes sense. That is a hallucination. That works. But that is for another video that I have. Go check out that one after this video. But for now, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. And I'll see you next one. Bye.